Well, welcome into the 8th edition to this week's Weather Hangout. Wow, 8th edition.
Yeah.
It's kind of threw me off guard. Wow,
Yeah, we got a good streak going.
Yeah, we've already been doing this for almost a month now. We're already on the 8th episode of the Hangout.
Right. Yeah, time flies when we're having fun.
Yes, exactly.
Talking, of course, about a multiple varieties here that we've had on the show.
Yeah, and November is upon us, but feeling a little bit more like summer outside.
It does not feel like November. I don't know what November is necessarily supposed to feel like in like Northwest Ohio, but it's not supposed to be like
whatever
this.
Mother Nature feels like.
Yeah, but it's kind of like she's making it up as she goes.
Yeah.
Okay, I got you.
But I'm not complaining. You guys know I love the warmer
Yeah.
weather. So yeah, no complaints from me. I love this forecast.
Yeah, I think I don't know. I just want the consistent cold weather, but I'll probably regret it by the end of like December.
I know,
It's
don't
like 30s,
jinx it.
40s.
Yeah, Matt, what do you know that we don't know?
I don't know. I just want that first like snowfall, but not like too bad. You know, just a cute little snow
pretty
event.
snow.
Yeah, pretty snow.
To just kind of get into it, because you're going to be driving this winter,
Yes,
so learning.
terrified.
And
Yeah.
I think we all are though, because we kind of forget for a couple months how to do it, and
So it's always a test run, the first one. Huh?
Yeah, the first snow is
Okay, I might
always
have
a little bit of a, oh, that's harder than I remember.
I might, I might have to hold off on that.
yeah, maybe like the second snow, once everybody else has their land legs, you can head on out there. But it's not snowing. We're not talking about snow.
No.
Maybe we got a little sidetracked, but we're talking about leaves this week.
Some other things falling from the sky.
Yeah, definitely. We've had some windy days, so that's definitely done a number on the trees.
Yeah.
Raking, do you guys have people to do it for you, or are you guys out there on the end of the rakes?
Well, I mean, I don't have any.
Yeah, you don't have anywhere you're
I don't have to do that, so I don't have to worry about that at all.
Yeah.
But,
Yeah, I'll help my parents out maybe, but
That's good.
raking's fun sometimes, but jumping in the leaf pile, of course, is where it's all at.
I have yet to do that. I need to do that actually.
Yeah, there's plenty of parks where they'll actually go in for compost. So obviously, maybe not jump on the compost ones.
Yeah.
But there's plenty of parks to go and like find those piles of leaves.
Just jump in them.
Yeah, so it's a lot of fun to be had, and maybe the raking isn't so fun, but the leaves, they are starting to fall, and you're going to notice those piles around town. But you might not know that it's very important on knowing where you should put those piles of leaves. I was shocked to learn some of this information, so I want everybody to take a listen to this advice before that vacuum comes down your street for those leaves. As you rake leaves to the curb, remember they don't go beyond. The sweet spot is right between the curb and the sidewalk.
We don't want to place it out into the road because not only is that a roadway hazard that occurs, but also that starts to collect the leaves going down into our drainage systems.
Though it is a storm drain, Matt McFadden of the Lucas County Engineer's Office and Lauren Rush from the city of Perrysburg say leaves can lead to summertime algal blooms on Lake Erie.
And unfortunately, the cause of that are nutrients, mainly nitrogen and phosphorus. And nitrogen and phosphorus can both be found from decomposing organisms. Leaves are no different. Leaves, as soon as they fall off of the tree and they touch water, will start to break down. And the more it breaks down, the more it will make those nutrients.
It's the same idea as making a cup of tea.
You take dried loose leaves and you steep them in hot water and you create a nice, dark, rich, bold flavor, right?
Yeah.
Leaves do the same thing unintentionally, and the water doesn't even have to be hot. They just have to sit in it long enough. So when these leaves sit in water, they decompose, and they make this wonderful loose leaf tea, we can say. So for example, you'd think the water would be clear, but
it's anything but clear. And that not so delicious cup of tea brews in the storm drains.
There's no filters. When the water enters the drain, it actually is going to its nearest ditch, stream, other outlet, and eventually gets into the Maumee River and/or straight to Lake Erie.
The best thing you can do with your leaves outside of your community pickup is to mow them for free lawn fertilizer.
nutrients are one of the major things that you need for gardening if you're going to grow vegetables or flowers or anything. And leaves are a great source. They're free. You can compost them in your own yard because city crews, when they collect the leaves, they take them to composting facilities, and that's what they do with them.
So this fall, as you get the rakes out, make sure only rain is in the drain because Lake Erie starts here. Isn't that interesting information?
Yeah. I don't know if I'm ever going to drink a cup of tea again.
leaf tea.
Yeah, I wouldn't drink the natural loose leaf tea. That's for sure. But I did this story for our show Good Day on WTOL 11, of course, and I thought, oh, we're just picking up leaves. And when I was talking to them, they were sharing about how it's really kind of our drinking water, and it starts right at the end of our driveway. But I was just kind of amazed to learn all of that and kind of how it works. I think a lot of us just get so busy taking them to the curb that we don't even think about really
how interconnected our bodies of water are. It's also good to know and really cool that you can fertilize your own lawn by using that as compost. And that's actually relevant to what I'm going to be talking about in this week's Climate Friday newsletter, because a lot of folks decide to burn their leaves, and what that does is causes some air quality problems. So instead of burning them, you can shred them up in your lawn and create a little bit of natural compost and fertilizer that'll help your lawn grow.
And plus, when you're talking natural, then it's free, and everybody loves free.
Yeah, exactly. And I've always wondered like where like the just leftover leaves go to, but what they showed me with the little tea, I was like, wow, that's kind of interesting how they just get so broken down to pretty much into a liquid almost.
Yeah, and even on those rainy days, because when I was there doing that story, it was raining that day, so you could just kind of see a little bit of water in those leaves sitting in the street, and I was like, no, don't go in the drain. So once you're kind of aware of it, I definitely think it makes a huge difference. So I hope a lot of people, as they're getting those rakes out, kind of, just stop between the sidewalk before you get to the road. Also to note, the grass won't die. So that's, the good news.
I never knew that.
Yeah, you can just let your leaves sit there. Your grass will be totally fine. But yeah, I just thought it was a lot of good, interesting information.
Yeah, that's very useful and relevant for leaf pickup season, which we are now full swing.
Oh yeah.
Yes, no kidding. Yeah, those vacuums are going to be coming our way here down the street. Of course, also, I forgot to mention in there, they said local communities, check with your townships, cities. Of course, those vacuums, they'll have the map on where they're going. So, of course, you want to do it right before it comes. You don't want to miss it. So that's just a little tidbit I forgot to add in there, but I wanted to remind everybody.
Yeah, great story there, Diane.
Yeah, great story. So yeah, I mean, as we know, a lot of things happening in the month of November and December. One of the first things, of course, is the end of daylight savings time.
Oh,
Are you all ready for it?
Are y'all ready for it?
I'll find out this weekend.
You'll find out this weekend. Well, yeah, before we get to that, enjoy this weather fact before we get a breakdown of daylight savings time. So yeah, all of these different festivities, whether it's the falls or leaves falling or even daylight saving time that we see pretty much throughout the fall seasons, that's something that we always know, and it always gets darker for this time of the year. So this Sunday, that's when we'll see the end of daylight saving time. We'll actually get set those clocks back just about an hour as we go throughout this weekend. So you'll get an extra hour of sleep, but of course, it'll be getting a lot darker, a lot sooner. The sunset, November 1st, was just around 6:28 p.m. But as we know, going back an hour, that sunset by the end of November, just around 5:04. So I know plenty of kids are not going to like this too much as they head out to play outdoors just after school. So to break this down for you, as we go throughout today, even into the next week, that sunset just around 5:19, but sunrise just around 7:15. Now, as we take this pretty much into the next month, well, sunrise just around 7:24, while that sunset just around 5:04. And we take this just at the beginning of the year of 2023, well, that sunrise 8:01. Wow, it's going to be a late sunrise for us as we go into pretty much as we go into January, just around 5:14. For a sunset time for 5 p.m. So pretty much to time that out, we'll continue to lose that daylight just around 60 minutes within a week. But by in a month, we'll lose 58 minutes of daylight. And pretty much by the start of January 1st, we'll be around an hour and 16 minutes of daylight loss. So we'll continue to lose pretty much a minute and 30 seconds leading all the way up into the end of daylight savings time. So like I said, it's time now for you to give you a little depiction of that chart. Today we're just, of course, around November 2nd, but we see more daylight just around the June to even to July months, even to September months as well. But as we go into September, December, we also continue to lose that daylight and also to get early sunset times going into the end of the year. Now, one thing to look at and to mention, well, some bills have been passed to possibly extend daylight saving time and even see it as something that's permanent. Now, what would that necessarily help? But it could likely help children play outdoors longer and even affect moods and behavior. But also for those adults, maybe to get you some more time outdoors with some more sunlight where you can do any chores around the house or even around town. That possibly could expect to start just in next year around 2023. And that could mean more daylight for anyone out there that would like to see that daylight. So pretty much what that would look like necessarily for us or across the United States all the way into the Pacific. Some places could see anywhere from 8:30 to 9 a.m. Sunrise times, but as we get closer back into the Central Time Zone and even into Eastern, could see anywhere from possibly 9:30 to 10 a.m. sunset times or sunrise times for then. But you may be wondering, what about Northwest Ohio? As we take a closer look, we could likely see anywhere from a 9 a.m. to a 9:30 sunrise time. So we're talking about this sunrise rising just around 9 o'clock. So we could likely see darker skies just around 7 o'clock. So most of part of Northwest Ohio is in that range, but also the other half just around that range of 8:30 to 9 a.m. That will likely be permanent for us. But hey, we got more on the way for us. So as we head into the next block of this, enjoy this weather fact before we find out who won the forecast of noon.
I'm cold just thinking about that.
Yeah, could you ever imagine a place where the average temperature was a negative 67 degrees?
No.
That's like what my nightmares are made out of.
Yeah.
That's cold.
Yeah, it's very cold.
But the number 67 sounds familiar because it sounds like my forecast of doom forecast.
Here we
Just not the
go.
negative side.
I put that in there for a reason this week, John. So I guess we might as well get to it. I honestly think John cheated a little bit. But as
Should we refresh our viewers' memory? We did this about 3 weeks ago. We made a prediction of Halloween. And of course, we had some data to work with, some of the long-range outlooks, but a lot of it was just speculation and just our feeling and our vibe about what the weather was going to be like.
Yeah, you got to trust your gut sometimes when you're doing this forecast. And your gut did not lead you astray. So,
No.
John, you have all the bragging rights until
so
next
I
Halloween.
forecast 67. Our official high at Toledo Express was 66. And then as far as what is normal or climatology, that's 58. So, Chris and Diane kind of took the safe route, just went with a normal, typical Halloween.
I just went cold. I just wanted to see. I was like, just try it. Might as well try it. But I was
Got to take a chance,
off.
though.
Yeah, always got to take a chance.
Yeah.
We've seen Halloweens, though, that have been very wet and dreary and very, very cold. So it's not like it was too, out of this world of a forecast.
Yeah,
but-
and it ended up being a really nice Halloween. The rain showers wrapped up just in time. I know at least at our household, we sat outside on the porch. It was that nice. And there wasn't much wind either due to the fog and the calm conditions. So not a bad Halloween.
Yeah, no complaints. Maybe some of the parents were kind of like, whoa, it's talking rain, but I think they survived and they had a good one.
Okay, I have to ask a question.
Okay.
Now that it's after Halloween,
Okay.
is it too soon for Christmas music?
No, I don't think so.
I think it is.
Yeah. We'll wait till Thanksgiving.
Okay, wait till Thanksgiving. Okay, so I have to ask you a question. Too soon?
Oh, yeah, you guys don't know.
Yeah.
There's so much music, you have to start early.
Okay.
I will say, okay, Ryan's not here, so I need him to back me up. But Ryan has started listening to Christmas music already.
Really?
So it's not just me. So it was kind of 2/3 of us are on board already.
All right, so I got to ask the question. Out of this list, what's your favorite Christmas song?
Out of this list, I'm gonna go with "Rockin' Around the Christmas Tree."
Okay.
off of this list because the original, the classic version, I think it was like Brenda Lee who sang that. I just think it's so fun and energetic.
Always remind me
It
of
is.
Home Alone almost. That's always what it
Oh,
reminds me of.
okay.
yes.
Yeah.
Yep.
What's your pick, John?
Depends on the mood I'm in. Silver Bells is really nice, like on Christmas Eve or right before Christmas. Jingle Bells is good to just get you in the spirit early December. You know, the Mariah Carey, I'll be that guy. And then it's overplayed. It's overplayed, and
It's a,
I feel like by December 25th, it's a little tired.
Yeah, that song definitely gets its love. Okay, Matt, what are you picking?
I
If you had to listen, what would you listen to off of this list?
I don't know. I've been in the mood kind of like Feliz Navidad would probably be, or Last Christmas. Either one of those, honestly.
Oh,
It's a
okay.
hard pick between those two. I'll probably go with Feliz Navidad.
Oh, interesting pick.
Yeah.
But so I know that there's the river is pretty common. Have not heard though when they're going to be doing that music. So I would assume soon though. It's early November. Maybe it's late for them. It's November 2nd.
Yeah.
You know, they're usually pretty early, but so I'm sure a lot of folks will be turning those radios here soon.
Yeah, exactly.
And to be listening to that.
Yeah.
But
It's still warm for November at least.
I know.
I will say I always like listening, but it's so warm. Even I'm kind of like, wait, it's not that time of year.
Wait a few days, yeah.
Yeah, so I guess I need a cold spell so then
Need a
I
cold
can
spell.
listen to my music.
And of course, if you don't like necessarily getting in a Christmas feel or even hanging up some lights, you may be able to do that this weekend, right?
Yep. Going to be a great looking forecast this weekend with sunshine and 70+ degree temps.
Yeah, it's easier to do it when you don't have the gloves on, and then you're trying to
frigid.
Oh, yeah.
Kinda cold, yeah.
do all of that, and you can't feel anything. So yeah, it'll be a great weekend. I'm pretty sure some folks in our newsroom are going to be come back on Monday and be like, I got my lights up, haven't plugged them in. I wouldn't be surprised. But yeah, Saturday, 74.
It's November. Do we need to remind you?
Oh yeah, sorry. I'm all out of touch here.
74. Wow.
Diane gets excited.
Almost feeling like summer.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Exactly.
This must be like Christmas in Florida. You know, maybe this is as close as we're going to get to it.
Back home, this is probably what Christmas usually is.
Yeah.
I mean, it goes back and forth. Sometimes it's mid-50s, but it's going to be very possible for Christmas down south.
Yeah.
Wow, that is crazy. But even before we're looking at that forecast, let's just, hit the brakes. But of course, hopefully you have a great weekend to get those lights up, turn the music on, or wait.
Or wait.
But of course, thanks for joining us for this week's WTOL 11 Weather Hangout. Hopefully we'll see you here right back next Wednesday.
Take care.